So one of the worst financial mistakes I've ever made was one that I did over 2 decades. So before I started my business, I worked for a company that had a group retirement plan. Similar to a 401k, it was a managed plan through the company's vendor. And in this case, one of the biggest provider of insurance and retirement plans in the country. So it's actually called Sun Life.
And I will never invest with this company ever again, and never recommend any employers do as well. But they are what they are. Not going to badmouth them.
Bad decision I made was when I decided to leave this company, I had the opportunity to port my money to another provider. The fees were $175, I believe at the time, to port this amount of money. And I only had $1,700 in this managed fund. And I'm like, okay, they got slightly higher fees. I think they were 1.5% or 1.25%. And I wasn't able to move them to Vanguard, Schwab, or Fidelity. Often these companies have index funds where the management fees are 0.02 management expense ratio. The fees that eat up a lot of investments in mutual funds year over year. If you chat with somebody like Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger, dear rest his soul, they would recommend that you're investing in low-cost index funds. But most employers, unfortunately, have employee group retirement 401ks or RSPs that are with large institutions that charge fees to both port out, but also don't offer access to some of the lowest cost funds. So one of the issues you have to face is, do I keep my investment within this fund, or do I transfer it out and face fees? Fortunately, most institutions, if the retirement amount is big enough, they'll pay you for that lost fee. So if the fee is $100 or $150 to transfer out, the importing institution who gets the business will often pay that fee. It can be definitely worthwhile to transfer out if the management fees are too high. I said to myself, it's only $1,700. Yeah, the fees are only 1.5% or 1.2%, the lowest they had as far as options. But what I didn't do was read the fine print. And it might have been that they added these fees. Sun Life
added more fees on top of expensive management fees.
And what it resulted in, over 20 years, I lost money on my investments versus my other investments that more than doubled over that same time period. So those fees and monthly low investment fees, so if you had less than $10,000 or less than $5,000, they were charging an additional $15 a month in fees on top of the management fees to manage taking my money or manage my money. So I really made a big mistake by not moving my funds out of this employer retirement savings plan. I should have moved them into my private fund. It wasn't enough at the time, I thought, but those fees, they just ate everything up. So instead of seeing my portfolio double and almost triple in the length of time, it was virtually zero. Even in times when the stock market was up 4%, 5%, 6%, 8%, all the fees ate up all of that growth. So my recommendation is to always check all the fees that you're having to pay and get on the phone and call. Ask AI. Sometimes these people are terrible to get hold of. You're on the phone for 15, 20 minutes. But always ask, what are the fees I'm being charged? Really make a decision early on how to get your fees into a low-cost index fund.